that lag, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, the lag! How many people are playing right now? I don't even know what's going on anymore. Oh my god, the lag is so awful. This is why I don't play immediately after a new update. This is so stupid. Somebody packed up his old kit bag with a cooking pot. Hey guys, it's Jim here, and welcome back to another episode of Heroes and Generals Buddies Wars Under. And I had to say though, the last two videos in terms of viewership is really disappointing. Especially the M4A1 video, considering the fact how much effort I actually put into making that damn video. Anyway, in today's episode, we are leaving the medium tank line, and now we moved on to the tank destroyer line. And first up in the line is the M10 tank destroyer, and this thing is an absolute monster in both games. Especially for the fact that in recent update, the battle rating changes and whatnot also included a little buff for this thing that makes it even more deadly than before. Now let me break it down to you and I will show you what it is. Now first things first, armor. As part of the US tank destroyer doctrine, they needed a lighter motorized set of tracks to house a big gun, tank destroying gun. Basically the idea is that they want this thing to go into position relatively quickly, then the Shermans take out the enemy tank and then bug off, basically. Didn't exactly work out, as we all saw how General Patton used this thing as a medium tank anyway, aside from that, so what does that mean is that you don't exactly have a very good survivable upper front plate right here. You only have 38mm right here, so they did get that thinner armor to make it a little bit lighter, but yeah, you're not very survivable in this thing. A lot of guns can definitely punch through this, even if you angle. But the good news is that unlike Heroes and Generals, in War Thunder we have this thing called the add-on armor modular. Kinda wish Heroes and Generals has something like that as well, but at this point I really don't care about them adding new stuff. I just want them to focus on fixing the shit that they have that is fucking Heroes and Generals. The add-on track armor puts pieces of track armor right in the front right here, which is desirable. And the good news is that if the enemy tank shell actually hits this, you'll be surprised at what tower rounds you can actually bounce. Panzer IVs, Tugs, T-34s, you name it, they're not getting through this if they hit this. But the experienced player know that they can just shoot this instead. And then moving down the transmission block right here, I'm not too concerned about them penetrating this anytime soon, because one, not only is this sticker with the additional track armor right on top, the transmission is in the way. That round's not gonna get far the moment it penetrates. And then moving up the turret armor, which is pretty much where the armor of this thing went to, right here. You have a gigantic manlet armor that's a little bit awkwardly sitting on a double layer armor right here, which is actually pretty well sloped as well in some areas. 57mm of armor right here and very well sloped at 44 degrees. And the fun part is that should an enemy shell actually does penetrate, the gun breach will just eat everything. And how do I know this? I was playing my Dicker Max with the upgraded shell, shot the M10 right here, and guess what? His crew didn't die, nothing happens to his tank, only his gun breach is destroyed, and then he just backed off. So yeah, that's how strong the turret armor is. Just be careful about one thing though. They're an open top vehicle, so that means high explosive of any kind, bombs, high explosive, heat, ash, artillery shells. Yeah, it's not really gonna take much to destroy you in this thing, unfortunately. So this is something you need to be careful of when you're playing this thing. My advice, get a kill and then just move on. Relocate immediately. And then moving on, the selling point of this thing, this is the M7 3-inch gun. And this is the gun that you will be seeing on the M6A1 or the modified version of it, the M1 76mm cannon on the M4A1 76 until M4A3 76. They will be seeing from 4.7 to 5.7 respectively. So that means this is actually a pretty devastating gun. Since at 5.0 they will be facing Tigers and they can actually damage them and take them out from the front. Imagine that amount of firepower at battle rating 3.3. And as the M7 3-inch gun goes, now something to keep in mind before I carry on with this is that They recently also made a change where they swap out the APC-BC and the regular AP shell as the default shell, so if you happen to be revisiting this time, please remember to swap out your shells. Yeah. Condemning Gaijin. Why? Anyway, M7 3-inch gun goes. This is the shell we'll be firing. The M62 shell, armor piercing cap, ballistic cap shell. That pens up to 149mm of armor at point blank, with 65 grams of explosive mass. Not only can you penetrate literally anything you look at in this game, including the annoying KV-1 bitch, you also have explosive mass, so that means one-shotting the enemy tank is no challenge either. Now the next thing to note is that you do have a 50 cal up here, which is good, unlike Heroes and Generals. Just keep in mind that you only have 400 rounds here, so you do run out of 50 cal ammo pretty quickly, so don't spray this thing as you see fit, unless of course it's an emergency. But my advice is, if you come across an open top vehicle, you might want to bring a few high explosive, just in case. And moving on the other aspects of the gun, you can carry up to 54 rounds of ammunition, which is not really a lot for a Sherman chassis, but then again they are stuffing a really big gun onto a Sherman hull. Anyway, my advice, bring less shells because, yeah, they are gonna be everywhere, especially up here as well, especially when you want to do a hold down position with this thing. Bring less shells so that there won't be any up here. Then maybe like less shells in the sides as well. My advice, maybe 30 armor piercing cap, ballistic cap shells and maybe 5 high explosive, and that's about it. Reloading rate. Now this is the part where they actually buff this thing to make this thing a little bit stronger as well. It's the fact that they lowered this thing's reloading timing. Originally, if you see my older M10 video, the reloading rate is around 6.3 seconds. And now it's 5.8. Which is actually a significant drop if you are playing this thing with a stock crew. No vertical guidance, negative tank gun depression. That's pretty good because this thing relies a little bit on hold on or ambush tactic. But negative tank gun depression, I'll take it. That's pretty excellent. You can definitely hold on with this gun depression pretty well. Now targeting speed. This is something you need to be careful of with the M10 is that from what I know, this thing is a hand cranked turret design. So that's why the targeting speed is only 4.1 degrees a second. And yeah, not only is my gunner targeting 1 point at max, 1.2 max, as well as I have the horizontal drive modular on. Yeah, it's really slow. So that's something you need to be careful of. And finally, no gun stabilizer. The gun does bounce every now and then as you try to stabilize it to fire. So all in all, how does this compare to Heroes and Generals? If I'll be honest though, Heroes and Generals 1 does actually have a better survivability. For one is that there's no overpressure mechanic, and two, I don't have to worry about these 3 guys up here whenever I'm playing the M10 in Heroes and Generals. As well as when you play hold down, this Mender is just beyond strong for some unknown reason. what unknown reason? Heroes and Generals tank shell mechanic is just broken. As well as in Heroes and Generals, the turret basket literally has nothing else inside it apart from the gun breech, so yeah, I'm really not too concerned about them destroying my tank very easily with whatever tank that they have. As long as I keep my hull hidden, my turret armor showing, yeah, the only thing they can do is back off. Alright, that's all I gotta say about the tank. Now let's get into battle, and let's delete some tanks, shall we? Those mistake by auto drive directly to the cap. Yeah, for yours, buddy. You kidding me right now? The pencil for F2 has no bear, has no reach. You get shot from. Acknowledge my presence, bitch. Oh, you guys having difficulty killing the pencil full. This is it, huh? Really game? Okay, no, it's like... You leave my friend alone, buddy. Oh my goodness. Water rotation is nasty. wasn't like you, please. You don't remember on that guy. You, on the other hand, need to die. This way is lost. I got you, homie. Wasn't there one window or wasn't there? Was not the one who camped, by the way.
The Allied forces have captured a zone.
the guy I'm worried about. Angle. Ah. No, I thought rotation's not helping there. Is it a 410? Yeah, it is. No, it's not. A very snub-nosed heavy fighter.